Okay guys, this is the start of the tombstone update, and I've got them all painted finally. Still a lot of work to do on them though, but I wanted to give you a look at what they look like currently before I go any further on the project. So here we go. There's the Celtic cross I made. And we'll kind of zoom in on the base so you can see a little bit more of the base. And go up that way. And we'll zoom back out. And as you can see behind them, I've got, guess what? Wall panels. They need to be detailed yet. Next tombstone is this one here. Enter the gates, burnt you'll be just like me. And we'll do a zoom in on that one. You can see all the little cracks and dings I put into it. I even mounted one of my skulls right there on it. And we'll zoom out again. The next one is the one I did for my daughter, with my oldest daughter's name on it. And it's blasted by Goku, buried by Frieza. And if you're not familiar with the names of Frieza and Goku, watch some Dragon Ball Z. They're two of the main characters in that cartoon. This one here, I still need to get a picture to go in the oval there. And I'm going to see if I can find some sort of demon or something. I got to research it. You'll be joining us. And then you can see the pattern I did on that. And we'll zoom out there. That's my rest in peace one that I did. And then we've got this one here. I'm not sure if the writing's really showing up really good on that one on the front. Just the lighting. Will Stanton, December 24th, 1703 to October 31st, 1746. And then there's the top. And we'll zoom out a little bit so the writing gets in there. There you go. Anyway, that's as far as I've gotten. The tombstones are made. They've been painted. I used red, black, and brass colored paint along with 3 different shades of gray, and I know they look rather new and not very well used yet. I still got to moss them all yet and then age them up a little bit, and I still have the mechanics on them to do yet. 5 out of the 6 are going to be animated. All that stuff popping up or out or through them or what have you, and I'm getting ready, to get my parts list together for that. The Celtic cross just needs to be moss. I don't think I'll animate that one. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna just leave it as is, I think, and maybe age it a little bit with some moss. But I'll do another segment here when I get more done. Hey guys, it's time for another tombstone update. Actually, Tombstone project has been crawling. I just haven't been able to seem to get into finishing them off. So finally my wife started piling on a bunch of stuff she wants me to do around the house, and been nagging me about it a little bit, and I told her I wasn't going to do it until I got done with the project I was working on, which was the tombstone. So now she's been nagging me to get the tombstones done so I could work on her projects. And it's not nagging. It's more like the honey-do list. So anyway, I've been working out here in the shop on the tombstones. I wanted to kind of show you briefly what I've gotten done. Last couple days I've been working on getting the mechanics done for most of them, and I finished the mechanics yesterday. Today I'm working on aging. Right now I figured we'll start with aging, and then I'll show you kind of a little bit on the mechanics right now, the way things kind of look without power, with them wet and everything. I really don't want to be messing around with trying to plug them in and everything. I'll give you kind of a closing update when I'm all the way done showing the different mechanics on the different tombstones running. But I just got done with the Celtic Cross here. Now I don't know how well the aging is actually coming up on camera here. So if it's not looking too good, I do apologize. But basically what I did was I took a spray bottle, filled it almost all the way full with water, and then mixed in a bunch of black paint to it. I basically diluted some black paint and then went over and gave the tombstones a squirting. And I'm going to wait and see how this looks tomorrow after it's dried all the way. I may give it a second coat, you know, to make the dirt a little bit more obvious on them. You know, you can see a little bit more on them. I just literally got this one done. As far as mechanics, this is kind of what I ended up coming up with, and they appear to be working okay. I think I'm going to zoom out. Don't need it zoomed in. That's our RIP one, and it just raises up and down. That's all it does. I need to buy a wig head for it and a mask. This one, which is you'll be joining us, originally, and this is what I've got for mechanics on it. It comes up to the crossbar. Originally, I was going to work it out so the mechanics went back and forth here and would push some skeletons I was going to attach to the corners and stuff. And I got to looking at it and thinking about it, and it just didn't look like it was going to work all that well the way I wanted to do it. And this is my first attempt at this type of animation, so I didn't want to get too fancy with it. So I just went with, it's basically the same style as what the RIP's going to be. It's going to have a head on it that will pop up and down, up and down. I figure go with the easiest. Now this one, this is actually Morgan's tombstone. I've got the skeleton head on there. I actually, the dang bottom of the skull was all broken out and everything, so I filled it with foam, and then I kind of put it on the pipe where I wanted it and just kind of tied it on. I figured the foam would solidify around the pipe and hold the skull in place. But this is one of those rockers. You know, she'll kind of do, you know, this type of motion as it raises up. You know, just kind of go in a circle, raise up and over and about. So that's what I got for that one. This one's a what I call a teeter-totter. It's actually pivoted right here, so when this end goes up, that end goes down, and then vice versa, up there, down there. Teeter-totter. I'm going to put 2 wig heads and 2 masks on it, so there'll be, you know, one on each of the pipes. So we got that done, and like I said, I'll plug these in and show you the movements and stuff on them once they're all the way done, so you can see what they look like. And I'll do them one at a time so they're easier to work on. This, on the crypt, and I'm not going to go too far because it's wet, but this just raises up and down. Real simple one, and it just kind of does this type of movement with the lid, is all it does. And it'll have a green light inside too. Might hook a fog machine up to it, yeah, I don't know. It depends on where it ends up getting placed in the haunt. It's Tombstone Friday. This is going to be my last update on the tombstones, guys. I've got everything done on them. They're good to go and ready to go out for the haunted haunt this year. This is that William Stanton crypt I made, and I'm going to go over here and we've got our Celtic Cross. I think we'll go sideways so that way you can see the whole thing. You guys can all just kind of lean over and see it. The Celtic Cross is the only one out of the 6 that I made, working on the overhead light here, that I did not animate. That's the only one I did not animate. But I wanted to kind of give you lights off on the box, and I'll be doing, showing you here in just a sec some of the others. I'll get them put together and up here on the table so you can see what they look like. But that's how our Celtic Cross ended up turning out. And we'll end up zooming in here just a little bit so you can get a little bit look on the mossing I did on it. And I didn't do any on the trunk, but I did do a little bit down here. And you can see the little skulls peeking out there. Now, one thing I did do with the moss, when I attached the moss, I used Elmer's glue, brushed the glue on to the tombstone itself, and then just put the moss on top of the glue, pushed it in, and let it dry. One fear I'm going to have, I'm probably still going to have some of the same problem with it, is when you rub up against it, it's going to break and fall off. You know, the moss is going to crumble a little bit. But to help prevent that, I went down and got some acrylic polyurethane, a clear coat, and I coated all the moss on all the tombstones with a good heavy layer of it. I just saturated the heck out of it with the moss, and it made the moss hard and a little bit more harder and stiff, you know, so hopefully it'll stick together a little bit more. 2, on moss, a planting little tip for you here. Buy in bulk. I got these last fall. It's a 2 cubic foot bag, and I bought them at a local store here called Fred Meyer's. I don't know if you guys have them down your area or not, but the Fred Meyer's has an outdoor garden area, you know, where you can buy plants and soil, all that. And I waited. They had the bags for sale regularly. Was about 20 bucks for a full bag of it. And I went in September, and they were in the process of packing up the garden area. You know, it was late in the season, and they had a lot of stuff on discount. And I actually spent, for that 2 cubic foot bag, 12 bucks. It was 50% off. So I bought 2 huge bags of it, and I just got into that one. Finally, I got my first one finally used up. I've been using it on all sorts of projects and as a decoration in the haunt and everything. So if you need moss, wait till September. Check out your local garden stores, like at grocery stores or, you know, what have you. And check to see if they have that. Check what the regular price is of it, and you might be able to get it on sale. 1 2 cubic foot bag goes a long way. But anyway, back to the tombstones here. This is that Will Stanton tombstone one. And you can see I got the hand and an arm poking out of it. I figured I'd show you what I did on this, and you can see how it works. The hand itself is actually attached to the lid. You know, and by the look of it, you really can't tell that there's that's attached to the lid, which I like. Mechanics on the inside, you can see my red light bulb there. I took a shirt sleeve off of a shirt over here, and I just cut it off. Got the shirt down at Value Village, and I glued it onto the PVC pipe, and then used a loop of baling wire that I attached to the pipe and just glued it over. I figure that's more than adequate to hold the shirt sleeve on. And then down here you can see the mechanism. We'll turn this around a little bit that I ended up using. And it's just basically PVC pipe with a T and a little arm that comes off, and I just attached it to that, and it worked fine. I thought it worked really, really good for the mechanism on this one. Messed around with it. You know, I should note this is my first attempt at ever really doing something like this. So, you know, those of you that have done animated tombstones and stuff before, you can probably sit down and get the mechanics on it whipped out fairly quick. You know, because you've got practice, you got know-how. Me, it took me about 2 hours screwing around with the piping and the mechanics and everything else to get it to like that. It just took forever, you know, because I'd never done it before. Okay, here's another one of the finished, what I'm calling finished tombstones. They're on the overhead here. On on this one, as you can tell, it's obviously not finished. I still need something for here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a styrofoam head to put on there, and then a mask, which the shirt will be attached to the base of the styrofoam head, and then the mask will go over it and stuff. But that I'm going to be doing come September when I do most of my bulk buying and stuff. But you know, for right now, she's pretty much done the mechanisms. As you can see, the shirt's rising up and down and everything. You know, the mechanism is done. I got another set of hands up here on the corner. We did the same moss treatment on it, you know, with the polyurethane and what have you. And I wanted to give you a look at how I did the mechanics, which is back here. We'll lift the shirt up and you can see the Deere motor going there, and there's a couple of U-bolts here and here that this PVC pipe just sits in, and then the motor pushes it up and down. But you know, from the back, you know, that's what it looks like. You see the hands there, and you know, probably detailing the back of the hands was a bit overboard on them, but you never know, I might move the hands to another prop later on or what have you. But for right now, there's another finished tombstone. Here's another one for you. And it isn't animated. If you look up on the corners here, you'll see some black pipes sticking up. Guess what? They need styrofoam heads and masks. Again, just like with the RIP one, September for those. But I think the finished tombstone itself came out looking pretty good. Myself, I like the moss treatment and the dirtying of it. Now, I think in an earlier segment I did say how I did that. What I ended up doing was getting a spray bottle here, and of course product placement for Armor All if you use it. But anyway, I added water to it and a bunch of black paint, you know, to water the paint down, mixed it up, and then I just went over and sprayed the tombstone. I did a couple of times, you know, take a paintbrush and some black paint, just smear it, and then sprayed it too to add to it a bit, you know, and I think it came out really good with aging them. I like the aged look on them. Let's take a look at the mechanics back here. This is my what I'm calling the teeter-totter effect. You can see the reindeer motor down there, and then this PVC pipe is on a pivot point right here, and as the motor cranks around, one head pops up. This one should lower down a little bit, then that one will go up and the other one will lower down a little bit and stuff. And I'm really anxious on these ones where I don't have the styrofoam heads yet. I'm really anxious to get the styrofoam heads and the masks for them and put those on there and see the final look. I'm really excited about doing something like that. Okay, here's tombstone number 5. And yes, God's flesh, this one is totally finished. I figure I'm going to be getting some comments from him. Gotta give you a little hell there, God's flesh. We all love you. You know that. Rest in peace, Morgan Lee. Born 1902, died 1988. Blasted by Goku. And buried by Frieza. We'll give you lights on. I've got a colored light aimed at these. All the tombstones I've showed you so far, but so much light coming in the window you really can't see the lighting effect on them really. This one I really liked. It's a nice tall tombstone. I like the movement on the head too. And then you got the mossing effect that I did on it. I did not put any moss on the base itself. But anyway, let's give you a shot at the mechanics back here. This one was really straightforward. This is probably about the easiest of them that I did. And you can see the head there. And I'm going to move this forward just a bit here. I can't go too far. Extension cord I have on, it's not long enough. And we'll go like this. make you sit on your heads again. And that way you get kind of an idea. Now the one thing I do like with this mechanism that I've got set up on this, the pole the skull's on pivots a little bit as it goes around as you watch it. So it's all, you know, so it looks like the head's turning, like it's following somebody. Now I was actually thinking possibly I've got another prop in my hunt. It's a giant bat that has 2 LED red eyes that run off a battery pack. I was thinking about taking that out and putting the batteries, putting the eyes, or putting the LEDs in the eyes on the skelly. Or maybe just saying the hell with it and getting some black paint and painting the eyes and the nose black. I don't know, I kind of like the look of it that way though, myself. So, anyway, there's a tombstone number 5, tombstone number 6.
Okay,
right
here's
our last tombstone. And God's flesh, you guessed it. I need to get a foam head and a mask for this tombstone. So in other words, technically it's not finished. We know. Now sit back, have a beer, put your feet up, and just relax. The world's not coming to an end. I promise you. At least not until December. If you go by the Mayan calendar. Okay, enough with Raz and God's flesh. I do this too much and I'm going to really catch hell from them. So, I'm sorry, God's flesh. And, I found one of your shirts and decided to use that for the prop. I hope you don't mind. But, anyway, here's our last tombstone. I wanted to kind of zoom in on the face I put in there. And of course a little shakily, but we'll zoom back out. There. Now I do have some work up here. The shirt's just basically sitting on the crossbars right now. Until I get the foam head and stuff on it up here and I get the shirt attached. I can't do my attachments here. I am going to tatter the ends of the shirt sleeves here too, and all that will be done with the when I get the foam head on it eventually. I wanted to give you a look at the mechanism back here so you can see it. And I'll go ahead and take the shirt all up for now. As you can see, it just comes up to a crossbar. That's all it is. Real simple one to do. Again, there's 2 U-bolts on it. But anyway, that is it for the Great Tombstone build. Hope you enjoyed what you seen.